You can start off, but let me just make sure it's live. I want to check on here.
Well, it says we're live, so it should be live.
Yeah, I want to make sure I see
Okay,
it here.
okay, you want to do that.
I want to make sure I see
That's it. That's it.
Oh, yeah, it's it. There you go.
All right, Shalom, Shalom. First, we'd like to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakadash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the house of David, which are the elect. All right, today we got the brothers here together. All right, but basically today we just wanted to get into the topic of these feasts and these holidays, man, so-called holidays that our people are starting to get into.
Right.
Okay, because during this time of the year, you start having what so-called Thanksgiving. We call it Thanksgiving. All right, and then it leads into Black Friday and all these different things, and ultimately so-called Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now a lot of our people, give me Hosea 4:6 real quick.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because our people are they're devoid of knowledge, man. Okay, because they get into all these different celebrations, which always goes back into what? Witchcraft. Okay, which ultimately is against what the Lord has told us to do, man. Okay, get that real quick.
This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 6.
Done.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right, the people of the Lord are who? The Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, man. Okay, stemming from you so-called Negroes all the way down to you so-called Mexicans, making it from Judah all the way to Issachar, man. Okay, you are the people of the Lord, man. And you are the ones who always, believe it or not, celebrate the most when it comes to these feasts, these so-called holidays, man. Okay, you're the biggest consumers, man. Okay, you produce and then you consume everything Esau tells you to do. Okay, go ahead.
It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge of what? The things to do and things not to do. Okay, Thanksgiving, if you had the knowledge of what Thanksgiving really was about, I don't think you'd be indulging in it. But these 2/3, of course, they probably will do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Right? Go ahead.
It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
You have rejected knowledge, man. Okay, how do you reject knowledge? By turning your back on the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, that's what gives you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Okay, the Lord tells you, He gives us what specific feast days that we have to adhere to. We have to celebrate. Okay, the Passover. Okay, the
Feast of First
Feast of First Fruits. Okay,
Hanukkah.
the Hanukkah. Okay, Hanukkah. Okay, all these different feasts that we as Israelites are supposed to rehearse.
Or high holy days.
High holy days that we're supposed to rehearse, but our people are void of that knowledge, man. They don't even know these things exist, man. They might come across it in the scriptures, read it here and there, but then they think of it as, oh, it's just a story that a thing that happened before. Okay, these are things that scriptures tell you in the book of Judges. I was at 5:14
about
rehearsing the righteous acts.
Yeah, I think
you know what I'm saying? 5 and 13. The book of Judges. It tells you that what we're rehearsing the righteous acts, man.
Right.
Okay. So you people are supposed to what? To understand the law, statutes, and commandments, and understand what feast or what holy days, high holy days, you're supposed to be what? Engaging in, man. Okay, because Thanksgiving goes back to what? The slaughtering of the Native Americans. Okay, which are the part of the northern tribe, specifically the Gadites, the Reubenites, man. Okay. And this is all something that Esau he glorifies. Okay, it's basically a spit in your face as a people, man. 5:11, Khan, the water. You could read that real quick, as a matter of fact.
This is Judges chapter 5, verse 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
Khan, rehearsing. Go ahead, finish it.
Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
God. So what? The point is what? We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Okay, the acts that we read off in the scriptures. It pertains to the Israelites, and if we know that we're Israelites, why are we not doing why are we not partaking in our customs as a people? Why are we always trying to indulge in other people's customs, man? Okay, envying the oppressor, okay, and partaking in his ways. That's only going to lead to your destruction.
I got something here.
Get some stuff.
When you go to Google and you put history of Thanksgiving, this is what Esau has here. It says the event that Americans commonly call the first Thanksgiving was celebrated by the Pilgrims after their first harvest in the New World in October 1621. This feast lasted 3 days, and as accounted by attendee Edward Winslow, it was attended by 90 Native Americans and 53 Pilgrims. So apparently there was a nice feast. They sat all down together, and they attended it.
Thanks.
Yeah, they gave thanks together. Jake and Esau side by side, and they enjoyed that harvest, right?
Hey, and hey, and that's a spit. Like I said, that's a spit on people's faces, man. Okay, because remember, these are all sacrifices. They're always sacrifices. Esau is always into blood sacrifices, and all these different things fall on certain specific days because that's when they do their human sacrifices. Okay, so while you're at home celebrating and eating turkey, okay, the Edomites are at home eating meat, regular human meat. Believe it or not, okay, these are things that they actually do, man. All right, and understand that the Lord is not dealing with none of this stuff. That's ultimately the point we're making here. That you thinking, oh, you're giving thanks every time, oh, Thanksgiving, but nobody's out there in the churches, nobody's praying to the Lord, nobody's thanking the Lord. Y'all be faking that stuff. Thanksgiving, who thinks about giving thanks to the Lord on Thanksgiving? The main theme for Thanksgiving is what? Turkey and food. That's all people think about. I'm just here for the food, y'all. I haven't seen my family members in 10 years. Oh, this guy just popped up out of nowhere. Happy Thanksgiving. You see? You got any more precepts?
Yeah, Con. Let me go to Amos real quick.
Come, get that.
This is Amos. Or actually, I can finish off Hosea.
Mm-hmm.
Hosea 4:6, continuing.
Mm-hmm.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
Hey, and the priests were the ones who used to carry out these high holy days, man.
Sacrifices.
The sacrifices and all that. And that's predominantly the Levites. Okay, now if the Lord's saying that he's going to reject us as a people, okay, he's mainly talking about the 2/3 because Yahushua, because of that rejection, Yahushua had to be the sacrificial lamb, okay, to buy us back, meaning the elect, the hopeful elect.
That's right.
All right, but the 2/3, man, you're done because you continue to engage in these things, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you're void of that knowledge that's to tell you, okay, this is right and this is wrong, this is righteous and this is wicked. I can't engage in this stuff. Okay, and you don't even wish to study for yourself to gain the understanding of why I should not be celebrating Thanksgiving because it's not an Israelite custom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got Jake that know, but they don't care. This is Proverbs chapter 1 verse 20. Wisdom crieth without; she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her word, saying. And this is because that way you have no excuse, because the chief place of concourse is where everybody goes. Like in the past it would be the Agora,
Mm-hmm.
and today really the internet is the Agora.
God.
All right, and the highways and byways where we're at. All right,
and Agora goes into the marketplace.
That's right.
Okay, now marketplace. Now today, the internet has become the marketplace, man. Okay, because you could buy so many different things. You buy and sell on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most of the things we purchase is from Amazon. We just go on Amazon, bum, they deliver it to us. Okay, so you're buying and selling by using the internet, man. Okay, a lot of things that you see today is on the internet. Most people don't go outside and encounter people. Even if to talk to somebody, to engage in communication, is by means of the internet, with your smartphone, the computer, whatever it might be.
Right.
Okay, so if a brother, for example, we're teaching right now, the brother's in the comment board, he's not coming to us straight up in the face and talking to us. No, but we can communicate with him or her by the comment section, man.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm saying? So the internet today is the Agora, man, the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Where we buy and sell information,
That's right. And on top of that, we're both out there and on the internet at the same time.
God.
When we do these live streams and we're out there, you can see us physically and we're on the internet. So we're in the physical Agora and the digital Agora.
That's it.
All right. So really there's no excuse. But it says here, uttering her words, saying, and that's the way she's uttering her words is by us speaking.
Mm-hmm.
How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. See, they hate knowledge. And what does the scripture say here? Hosea 4:6. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge. All right, they rejected it because they hated it. Because the script, Paul said, what? You have to become a fool to become wise.
Mm-hmm.
But their pride didn't allow them to cast away what they thought they knew, to humble down. So instead of coming humbly to receive the knowledge, they hated it, and that's why, ultimately that's why they killed the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But they hated it, and because of that, they couldn't accept it. Okay.
A prime example would be if you have a group of brothers, the oldest brother probably doesn't have some type of information that the youngest brother might have, but because of pride, to humble down and go to a younger brother and be like, look, the information you got, I don't have that. Teach me that. He's not going to do that. as a result, he starts to dislike that brother. You know, it's human nature because we grew up around older brothers around us as kids growing up. So we experience that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Where the youngest brother is starting to be disliked. That's the same thing when you go to Joseph, that's the spirit. You go into Genesis, that's what happened. Because he was loved by his father, they start to get jealous of him.
Oh, right. Salaki, what happened when he had that dream? He had that dream that says what? That the stars will pay, and the stars, the sun, and the moon will pay obeisance to him, which were his brothers and his father and mother, and even his dad rebuked him. But guess what? The Lord fulfilled that when they had to go back to Egypt and go to him, and they had to basically appeal to him, reverence him for whatever they needed.
So there you go. That's a sign of what? That's going back to bowing down and being humble enough to receive, ultimately salvation. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, real quick, see us on the streets, and they think of it as, who are you? What can you teach me? You know what I've been through in my life? Well, what do you know? Well, we have the key to knowledge and understanding in life, man. It's not about, forget about the outward appearance. Worry about what's being said, the information that's coming out, man. You know what I'm saying? But our people are too prideful to understand that, but that's okay.
That's right.
You know, go ahead.
Going on, it says Hosea 4:7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. All right. And guess what, man? It was the same thing in the past, and it's the same thing now, man. All right, because if you go to Hosea 1:1, all right, it says what? The word of the Lord that came unto Hosea in the son of Beeri in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. All right, kings of Judah in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. At that time, Israel they weren't really going through a lot of heavy affliction, because the Assyrians weren't on their case at that time like that. So in that time, because Jonah had prophesied it, when they had that peace, like it says, as they were increased, instead of giving thanks to the Lord, guess what? They went right back into that wickedness, man. And it's the same thing now. Jake is out of that chattel slavery, the chains and all that physically. So guess what? They right on their bullshit. But back then, what were they doing? They were singing songs, okay? Singing gospels and hymns, okay? Talking about the angels, talking about the Exodus and all of that, wanting to read the Bible and all that. But now, when those chains were loosened a little bit, guess what? Jake is right back to their BS, man. Now you're allowed to be a Christian. You're allowed to be all these other stuff, man. So they jump right on it, I have an Amos. You could get on that. All right. This is Amos chapter 5, verse 21. Because it's the same thing, man. Amos was telling them the same thing Hosea was telling them. They were there around the same time, telling them, yo, y'all got to get right. And it's the same thing we're doing now, telling our people whenever the time comes, they be on that, man. Okay. Amos 5:21. The Lord said, what? I despise your feast days. And what's Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is a feast day. A lot of people really, they'll tell you, I come for the food. That's really all it is, man. It says, and I will not smell in your solemn assembly. So don't think that just because you say, you sit at the table and say, this guy, bless it for us. Bless the food for us. And then they close their eyes and then, oh, sweet Jesus, bless this food for us and da-da-da-da-da. The Lord is not hearing that, man. Okay? It's really like smoke in his nostrils. All right. It says, though ye offer me burnt offerings, because at that what you're doing there is you're putting the Lord off to the side somewhere, man, and you're celebrating the customs, or pagan customs. Okay, that's like your girl coming to you showing you a freaking sex tape before cheating on you. Talking about, babe, how I look in this. That feeling you get, guess what? That's the same thing. And she has the nerve to show it to you and ask you, give her little pointers and tips about it. So here it is. You're doing the same thing to the Lord. It says, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. Because what you had back then was you had Jake that they would worship and sacrifice to the Lord, but it was just going through the motions. It wasn't sincerely. That's why the Lord said in the book of Psalms that he desires a broken and contrite spirit. That is the real sacrifice. And the same thing now, man, when they put the turkey in the oven and all that, because in the past it was the scent. All right, of the
aroma.
Yeah, the aroma of the sacrifice that the Lord wanted. Obviously, he wasn't going to eat the food, all right, but it was the aroma that he liked. It was a sweet savor, sweet smell in his nose, you know. But now when you you're in the process of making this turkey and all these different things, that's nothing to the Lord, man. That's why he did away with the sacrifices, man, because it was worthless. It was vain. Jake would premeditate wickedness and then have their animal ready. Okay, it says, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Now, if you look at water, let's say you have a leak, but it's coming a whole lot, you can't stop it, man. You know, unless you got a big ass bucket, but even then, what? The water will still overflow. You know, you could put your hands, but the water's seeping through your hands, is getting all over you. When it starts running, unless you seal up that hole, guess what? The water's just gonna keep coming, man. If you put a bucket there, guess what? You move the bucket, the water's on the floor. You know, you put another bucket, it's just gonna keep coming, and that's the same thing as the judgment the Lord is gonna bring. All right, it's gonna flow down like waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. But have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? All right, and then verse 26. But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Molech, and chewing your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves. You know, and that's what Jake is doing, man, even to this day.
God, hey, and that's beautiful that you said that, because Jake has always been into sacrificing to other gods but the Most High. Okay, and the Most High said on countless occasions that he's going to punish the wicked. Okay, now the wicked involves Esau the wicked, and those are people who follow after the ways of the wicked. Okay, now whether you know it or not, that these feasts, so-called feasts, what they go back to, it doesn't matter. As long as you're partaking in it, that's the problem. Okay, because a lot of people go and die out of ignorance, man. Okay, because the knowledge is out there. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 18. It says, the children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Okay, so the nerve of these people, man. Okay, it says, do they provoke me to anger, saith the Lord Yahweh? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh thy power, behold, mine anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man and upon beast, and upon the trees and upon the it says, and upon the trees of the field and upon the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn and shall not be quenched. That's talking about what America, the missiles that's going to be landing on this place, man. Complete destruction, because here, other countries don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. It's only here in America that people actually celebrate that shit, man. Okay, and then they go into what the Babylonian customs like Christmas. Okay, which we're gonna get right now, Jeremiah 10 chapter real quick. Yeah,
that's right. And if you notice, the Lord says he's basically gonna burn everything up, man.
That's it.
Because the Lord will do that. Even going back to the time of Egypt, when he killed the firstborn, even the cattle got it. You know,
God.
When Elijah called down fire from heaven, the Lord didn't just burn the sacrifice. He burnt the stones, the water, the whole altar. He took that, he licked up everything, man.
All that shit.
All right.
All that shit. God. This is a book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, start at the top. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
That's right. That's right. And that's plain, man. All right. The Lord, how does the Lord speak? Keep reading, I'll find it. Actually, run it back from the top there.
God. Jeremiah 10, verse 1, it says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Okay, so meaning what? Going back to the specificity or specificity, if that's a word, right?
Specificity, whatever.
Specificity, right? Of the Most High, what? Making sure that he's letting you know that, look, I'm only speaking to the house of Israel, the nation of Israel. Okay, going back to what? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that covenant that the Lord did with man, his men, the Israelites, man. Okay, the Israelite man is who the Most High had the covenant with. Okay, so it's not about everybody else. You can't add yourself to a contract if your name isn't written in the papers that the contract states. Like, oh, this is a contract between Bakar and Haran. You can't say, oh, my name is George, and I'd like to be a part of it because over 1,000 years, blah blah blah. No, you can't have that, bro. You're crazy if you think like that. But then what? Esau has told you through philosophies, through Christianity, through Islam, all these different religions, right? That there is a chance. Hey, Christ came and he died for your sins. No, that's another way of Esau using that form of inclusion. Okay, so he can gather as much people as possible, man, because he knows he can't really pick out who's an Israelite right now. So the best way to go about it, just include everybody. And ultimately that's what we're going to lead to what? The chip, man, the microchip. Okay, because that's the only way Esau is going to find out. Okay, well, he's an Israelite, he's not. I can only identify by what? Using this RFID shit. Okay?
So run that back from the top.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you.
That's right. And how does the Lord speak to them? 1 Samuel 9:9, because the Lord doesn't come down physically and speak to them.
Okay.
It says, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. But when they went to inquire of the Lord, like it says how Rebecca went to inquire about the kids in her womb, she went and spoke to the prophets. All right. So that's how you would hear the word of the Lord, by the prophets. So guess what? You're not regarding us. Guess what? You're not regarding the Lord. Okay.
It says, O house of Israel, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
And why did the Lord say that, Salakia? Because the land that we were in, we were surrounded by heathens, man. If you look at where Israel is, on the north you have heathens, south, east, west, everywhere you got heathens. All right, even the land we took over, you had heathens in there. So the Lord told us what? You don't learn their ways, because you're going into that land, man. Okay.
God says, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay, why? Because they don't have true understanding of these things, man.
Yeah.
They go into what? The zodiacs and all these different things. That's off. The Most High never talks about zodiacs in the scriptures, man. It's plain as day. You go into the book of Genesis, it tells you the heavens. Okay, what happens? What are they for? The stars, the moon, the sun. It tells you everything that those things were created for. But Esau says through the zodiac and shit, because he lacks understanding of the scriptures, he comes up with all these different doctrines to throw everybody off, man. Okay, changing the calendar. All these different things go back to the worshiping of the beast. It's a conditioning. Okay, the zodiacs, 12, you add them up, all these different numbers that they do, the pentagram, all this stuff, man. And it's all going into what? Symbols. Or going into what? Witchcraft, man. Okay.
Yeah, because you had was it Issachar that could tell the seasons and stuff. The Lord blessed them with that ability to do so. But there's a difference, because what Esau does is because they lack understanding, they start to worship these different creations that the Lord has made. But you can't worship the moon. It's just there to tell you time. That's how you tell time, by the moon. It doesn't mean the moon is the god of time, all right? But it's just there to tell you time, But the Most High ultimately created that. So that's the thing. They'll take it and they'll twist it up and make it into, something the Lord made righteous. They'll turn it and make it go off. Just like the Lord made man to be upright. Guess what? Esau gonna turn man into a homosexual and make him go off.
Hey, real quick, when you said the moon is to tell time, it's not literally talking about the moon telling time as it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It's talking about days, weeks, months, just to keep up with the consistency of whatever time period that we're in. Okay, because time is basically a continuous, endless duration, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it just keeps on going.
Yeah, and that's a spirit too. If you look at it, the moon is sort of to tell you the days, and the sun is more like the ticking, the ticking hand. Because hey, Jake could tell time by the position of the sun. It tells you about Ahaz had a sundial. And then when you go back to the natives, how they would use certain even they show you that in Avatar: The Last Airbender. How the ancients, they had like a certain, like it's weird, it's set up on the floor and there's a little ball in the center, and when the sun hits it, it'll direct it at what angle to what time it is. So all of that, man. So hey, the sun can tell you the time of the day. The moon will tell you what day it is and what month, and all of that.
Hey, even in Ghana, they used to tell how workers, if they were working in the field or whatever, they knew what time it was by the sun. Like when they look up directly and the sun is directly above, they knew it was 12 noon. Okay, and then when the sun starts to go down towards the west, they'll be like, okay, it's about 3 p.m. right now. We got to go take the sheep out to graze before the sun go down. We could bring them back in. You know, all these different things, man. Okay, in the morning, the sun is starting to rise. Okay, it's about 6, 7, 8. Not, you know, that's how you tell time, man.
Yeah. Hey, that's why in the ancient world they'll talk about the 3rd hour, all right, the 9th hour, the 12th hour, the 6th hour, because it's easier to tell time if you break it up into threes, because then you can see what the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, the 9th hour, the 12th hour. You know, you can tell, you know, the sun movement.
That's it. Continuing, it says, verse 3, Jeremiah 10, verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
So the customs of the people are vain. All right, showing you we're living. That's why Solomon said, "What? All is vanity, man." All right, but Jake loved that vanity, that folly.
Go
ahead.
For the customs of the people are vain. Also going into what? It's of no life. Okay, so you're basically enjoying things of the dead. You know what I'm saying? Because these so-called gods, they're of no life, man. You know what I'm saying? Continue, verse 4, it says, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
That's talking about them Christmas trees, man. Now they got the the little stands you could just put the tree in and it'll stand up. All right, but that Christmas is in the Bible and we're reading it right now. You know, so for Jake, the Bible isn't real, all this extra stuff, man. Explain that, because then it shows you Christmas isn't new. This goes all the way back to what they were doing there, man. Because when the Southern Kingdom got carried off into Babylon, what you think they did? They picked up the customs there as well, man. Okay, started worshiping certain Babylonian gods, deities, you know.
Verse 5, it says, they are upright as a palm tree, but speak not.
Yeah, because trees don't talk, you know, and it stands up straight.
It says, they must needs be born because they cannot go.
Born meaning carried. You know, like if they say something is airborne, it's carried by the air.
That's it.
You know, so obviously the trees can't walk, so you got to carry them. When they cut it from the forest, they'll put it on top of the car, tie it up, take it, you know.
It says what? Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. Okay, and a perfect precept will be I believe 1 Samuel 2 and 6, and also the one that the Lord says what he creates the light, Isaiah
45 and 7.
Come on, get that real quick. So this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 6. Now the Lord is giving you an example of what these gods can't do. That they have no good or evil in them. That means they have no balance. They have no life. I'm the Most High. That's the Most High is saying this. He's the Most High. And these are things He can do. 1 Samuel 2 and 6. The Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. So He's in power of all these things, man, whether it be on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side.
Precept.
Get that.
Jeremiah 2 and 11, going into that, it says what? Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit. Because what? Those gods that people worship, they're no gods. They're really just demons that you know run around here. The scriptures talk about the deceived and the deceiver are his. But keep in mind, when you read Bel and the Dragon, that statue that they thought was eating the food, guess what? It wasn't a statue eating the food, man. The Lord tells you when you read letter of Jeremiah is basically cursing out, you know, these gods, man. Talking about how if dirt or any webs were on their face, they couldn't wipe it off. If they fell flat on their face, they couldn't get back up. You know, they can't do anything. So how the hell are you going to worship a creation of your hand when it can't even feed itself? It can't even clean itself.
There's a book of Isaiah, again, backing up the point that the Lord said what? That there's no evil or good in these other gods. There's no balance, there's no power. There's a book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh, do all these things. Okay, so by means of His angels, okay, He gives command and things get done. And they get done perfectly how He has commanded it to be. Okay, and that's why we're supposed to fear Him, man, because all these other gods, man, they, like the brother said, they can't even talk. They can't speak. You're wasting your time. You're doing all these sacrifices, insulting the Most High with something that's lifeless. Damn. You know, like you're just taking it a whole nother level, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's Jake for you, man. That's Jake. And that's why the Lord said what? In Amos 9 and 8, He said what? His eyes are upon the sinful kingdom and He will destroy off the face of this earth, man.
Right.
Okay? And the sinful kingdom is Babylon here in America, man. Okay? And predominantly our people are here in America because it's known as what? The melting pot.
Hey, what's Las Vegas, Sin City?
Sin City, exactly.
Yeah.
Sin City, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all these different states and these different names, they originate from something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, hey, America's not just a melting pot of people, but also of customs of the past, man. You
Right.
have places called Babylon, Memphis, going back to Egypt. You know, all these different things, all in this place, man. All right, but yeah, that was pretty much it. You know, we just wanted to go into that real quick. All right, being that that's the season we're coming in. Hey, try not to get as too vexed. You know, your family might be partaking in it, but look, man, just use wisdom with it. Okay, don't be over righteous. Okay, the scriptures talk about people praying to idols over the food. That's why you got to pray over your food, man. Look, if you're living in a house and your family makes a big ass dinner for Thanksgiving, look, man, if later on you hungry and that's the only food that's there, you pray over it and you eat, bro. You know, don't be all over. Oh, nah, you niggas are wicked. Nah, man, I gotta go, man. Most I gonna destroy. Nah, they don't need for all that, man. You know, you gonna stress yourself out. You know, so just in the spirit, pray to the Lord and just just go through it. The Most High is gonna do away with all this real soon anyway, man.
yeah, listen, just eat, bro. You know, you go there, don't be thinking about, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Nah, bro, look, it's food. It's just a regular day or just another day, and there's food. This time there's more food than normal. I'm gonna eat. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Feed, bro. Eat your food, man.
Yeah, man, don't be over righteous, man. All right, because you know
pray.
exactly. Pray over it, and you know that the Most High blessing your food for you.
That's it.
You know, so that's pretty much it. Of course, don't be eating no abominable foods. That's a different thing. You know, but hey, no willingness to edify unto the elect, man. The Lord's gonna get us out of here real soon, man. You know, so all this the Lord sees, He hears our cries, and He's gonna do away with it, man. All right. So with that, we go this is edifying unto the elect. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodesh. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.